Americans are making a connection between their financial stress and worsening mental health. 42% of U.S. adults say that money negatively impacts their mental health, with 28% saying they worry about their finances daily.
I honestly don't think the general economy and things and the way the world's going is going to improve greatly anytime soon. And unfortunately, I feel that it's going to get worse before it gets better.
When people ask you, like, how are you doing? Like, there's this instinct for you to be like, it's fine. Like, we're good. We're okay. Like, everything's okay for now. Like, we're getting by. But I think the reality behind that is that it's that but part. It's the ... It's like barely hanging on there. Like, it's moment to moment. It's day to day. It's counting the pennies. That's just for food and gas. And God forbid anything else go wrong in life, which if something in my car breaks, or, something in the house breaks, or the kids need money for a birthday or whatever, like, try not to think about that, because I don't know where the money's going to come from.
For us, our grocery bill weekly is about $67. And the last time that we went to the grocery store, it was $125. So, we don't buy store name brand stuff. We don't buy, the name brand products. We buy store brands. So like we go to Aldi or other regional chains and we buy like their store products. And even that cost is costing us almost an extra 60, almost doubled our cost every week just for food. And with me driving, I drive an hour round trip to teach every day. And that with gas, when gas went up to over $4 a gallon, it was almost 200. It increased my gas cost from what was $80 a month to $216 a month. So it's quite a escalation in cost.
I go to the furthest place first and hit wherever's closest to that after, and then, come to the store that's closest to my home last and try to just kind of maximize my drive time. But I don't even know if that's helping because that's like almost $6 a gallon of gas. It's like, it just feels like you're spending money no matter what. And I begin to wonder if it even matters if I drive to multiple places. Am I really helping? Is it making a difference? It's really hard to say.
Gas is really hard because, like, for food, okay, I can go get like the cheaper cereal or the cheaper snacks. There's no cheaper gas. Like, there's no other option really. Connecticut's pretty high. We're almost at $5. And I mean, you can drive to like 3 towns over to get 10 cents off, but then that doesn't really make sense, right? Like, there's no shopping around for a better price. It is what it is. And we all need it to get to work.
I actually am leaving teaching because I can't make enough money. So I cleaned out my classroom yesterday. I actually am going to make more money managing a storage unit than I am teaching. So I traded off my ability to help and love children for an ability to love and help myself, which is essentially the trade-off I made, at least just for now, because I felt I really needed it.
I do believe it's going to get worse. I believe that the gas prices are going to go up this summer, and it's definitely going to affect families, costs of food, costs of supplies, because everything in our country is moved with fuel. So I can't imagine it getting better right now with the cost of fuel continuing to rise.
Produce is expensive now too. It's not cheap anymore. My kids love like cucumbers and fresh foods. My daughter's an athlete. Like, it's important to give them healthy stuff, and also not affordable. Like, it's just not.
And she's been like a real trooper about this whole thing for the last few years. She totally gets it. I've always been real honest with her. And now I'm being honest with her about the inflation thing. I'm like, honey, things are really expensive, and I can't really tell you why. It's hard to say. It's a complicated thing to talk about.
It feels like we're coming from we're kind of just pinballing between tragedies and traumas, right? Like, you're going from a pandemic to inflation with all these other social issues going on, and you just almost feel like people are just weary. And I don't know, I really hope that like we come out of inflation and we realize that like we can do better.
I mean, technically it could last forever. Is it sustainable for me and my family, and probably for a lot of other people? Not at all.
I'm getting by right now enough, but I don't feel like I'm getting ahead as fast or as far as I should be, considering everything.
They see it, you know, like when I'm in line and I'm like, you know, calculating in my head and looking at my groceries, right? Like literally, like I have my calculator out, like doing the tax and like, what is this going to come to? And, or I'm putting things back as we get closer in line, you know? You know, and my oldest daughter is like looking at me, and then like she's putting something back, and like it just, you know, breaks your heart a little bit.
I don't want my kid to feel bad that she's eating something without asking. I don't want my daughter to think that we don't have enough for her, because I know what that felt like for me. Food insecurity and, you know, financial insecurity were a huge part of my life, and to this day, I still feel it. So we have to get by somehow. I don't know what that looks like, but we don't really have a choice. There's no alternative.
We are surviving, but I am hopeful that shortly we will also be thriving and getting back to a position where we're a little bit better.
Americans seem more stressed about money than ever before.
87% of Americans said that inflation and the rising costs of everyday goods is what's driving their stress. And that's one of the highest numbers of stress that we have seen in the Stress in America survey.
4 in 10 Americans say that money affects them negatively and the state of their mental health.
Money is a universal stressor, regardless of your financial standing.
Latino and Black adults were more likely to say that money was a significant stressor more frequently than white and Asian respondents. Many Americans don't feel hopeful about their financial future, with 41% saying it's, quote, going to take a miracle to be ready for retirement. Sometimes dealing with stress can worsen someone's financial problems. An April 2020 Credit Karma survey found that 35% of respondents said that stress from the pandemic made them impulse buy.
I was sad, so I would shop. And that led to me accumulating over $30,000 of credit card debt. And I had to figure out how the heck I was going to pay that off. Things are getting way more expensive, and we want to experience things and we want to live. And so in order to provide some sort of happiness, I was getting serotonin through shopping.
I started drinking more, and I feel like eating more and spending more. So like you start doing those coping mechanisms because you're stressed about money or stressed in life somehow. And so it was leading me down like a road that I didn't want to be on, but I didn't know. I felt stuck. I felt trapped.
Mental health issues can have serious consequences for a person's overall well-being.
There is clear evidence that mental illness affects your physical health.
We typically see stress manifest in 2 ways. One are physical symptoms, so things like teeth grinding, headaches, stomach discomfort, muscle tension. The second is emotional responses, so that can look like anxiety and stress, difficulty sleeping, changes in your eating patterns. And so when those come together and they are unmanaged, that's where we see really negative physical and emotional consequences.
Many people struggle with the shame of their financial difficulties, and it's often a burden that's carried alone in silence.